All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Big Hair Big Licks podcast. Today on the show, I have an absolutely amazing guitar player as my guest today, Mr. Joe Carson. How are you doing, Joe?
Not bad, Ronnie. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, no problem at all. So first off, before we even kick into the interview, I just want to say how much of a fan I am of your playing.
Oh, thank you
Uh,
so much, dude.
Yeah, no problem. You're just unbelievable. Like I was telling you before, the first time I saw you play, it just stopped me in my tracks. I was like, "Who is this kid?"
Oh yeah, that was at the lyric
Yeah, yeah,
at August with for Floyd. Yeah,
yeah. What year was that? Was that 2014, 2013?
14,
14.
because we had worked with him the year before at MTS Center.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
then we all did the big party at the lyric.
That's right. Okay, yeah. That's right. Well, let's actually kick into that. Basically how like you guys were so young when you played these massive venues, like playing the MTS Center. How old were you when you played the MTS Center?
I had just turned 18,
Yeah.
or no, 17. I was 17 at the time, and so was Karsten, the singer from Mojo, Karsten Roche. We were both 17, and it was just so surreal to be able to go out there. And I remember how nervous we were. We had our own dressing room with a band that used to be called Piss Ticket.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And then I guess they were kids on the run when they played with us at the Lyric, and we shared a dressing room with them. And then when the guy came down to take us out to the stage, that was the coolest moment. It was, walking out, and you see the lights go out, and you go on the stage. Oh, you played there. You know what it's like to walk onto that stage.
Yeah, it's just surreal, but it's one of those things where you realize as soon as you get up there, it's just like, yeah, you want to do this every day for the rest of your
Oh,
life type
for
thing.
sure, for sure. Like the coolest moment was I was lucky enough to have my parents there in the audience watching that, and I remember walking out onto the stage and hitting the first couple of notes, and my amp wouldn't work. It
Oh
didn't
no.
work right away, so we had to do a little. We stopped for a few minutes to do a problem check. We finally got it working, and when we started playing, the first thing I looked out to was my mom, who was standing in the on the stairs. I can't remember what section it was, but she was just standing there and just watching it. It was such a I couldn't believe that it was actually happening.
That's wicked. And then just that moment to share it with your parents too. Like they're there watching you practice in your room and watching you build this journey up, and just for them to see kind of like I wouldn't say pinnacle, because man, the roof, the ceiling is endless for you. But it's that must have been a pretty cool moment for sure.
Yeah, it was wicked. I had the honor to take them as well to Investors Group Field this year when me and Fresh IE when we performed there for Canada Day when we did the Canada Day show with the Blue Bombers.
That's
And
wicked.
yeah, that was really surreal to be in the dressing room where Angus Young, Slash, Paul McCartney, all these huge guys that had been playing that same arena that we're playing in the middle of a pandemic with nobody there. Um, it was quite cool.
That's surreal, and that's actually a good segue. I usually ask all my guests, how have you been doing during this pandemic? Have you been able to get together with Mojo and practice, or?
We've kind of been on a off and on thing for the last little while. I've been really focusing on my time playing with Fresh. We have done some things together as a band. We did for the St. Paul's High School. We did their homecoming. It was virtual this year, so we recorded a cover of "Are You Gonna Be My Girl?" All of us in different, in our own houses recording. And then me and Karsten did a cover of Panama to do the tribute for Eddie Van Halen.
That's wicked. Rest in peace, Eddie. Like I
Yeah,
know he's a massive influence on you as well, me as well.
yeah.
Like
I think for most guitar players, I think that holds true. But yeah, going through this whole pandemic and this whole change of, we played at the Park Theater with Fresh IE on the 12th of March, and the next day was Case One.
that's
Like,
crazy, eh?
to think of how far it's come, and it's almost a year later. Like it'll be almost a year later. Like we're there.
That's that's surreal. And then you look back at that. Like I remember watching videos of that show, because I unfortunately wasn't able to make it. That show was packed, and just to think that like the next day it's just all gone. Like
all
it's
shut down, everything.
yeah.
That was the day one, and it was just so you could feel it the next day. It was just like whoa, and then you questioned like, was is it possible that someone there had it? You don't
Yeah,
want to go
yeah.
there. You don't want to go there, but your mind does.
Yeah, that's a scary thing as well. Like it's well that's good. Like you seem to be like keeping busy with Fresh, and we'll get into working with Fresh and stuff in a little bit. But it's cool to see that you've been keeping busy. Like of course I imagine you're practicing every day and
Yep.
keeping busy.
There was a bit of a slump for a while, in the last about a year. My dad's been battling cancer, so I've been helping around the house and helping out with that as much as I can. So music it's really picked up in the last little while since he's got the all clear from his
Hmm.
doctor. So
Oh,
it's
thank
been, yeah, it's been a bit of a rough year, but now I'm starting to get back into the more 5 hours a day practicing like I used to. you know,
yeah, yeah, 100%. That's wow. That's definitely some heavy stuff, and it's
yeah, it was rough, and going to taking him to chemo treatments, picking him up and stuff, and you're in the middle of a pandemic, like in the middle of a global pandemic, going
yeah,
through that as well. Um, yeah, there were some stressful times, but music has always been something that gets me through tough times, and
for
always
sure.
to have that guitar to fall back on if um, it says things that you can't say.
100%. I love that very much, man. I relate to that a lot. Let's kind of get into your journey of how you began playing guitar. Was it something like is your family musical? Like, do your mom and dad play or?
No, they don't, and that's the weirdest thing is that neither of them play an instrument. My mom played the guitar when she was younger, and then kind of that didn't go very far. Um, but it was more or less the having the music around. My parents were both big music fans, couldn't play. So, growing up listening to, I remember my first album being Queen News of the World.
Nice.
You have Sheer Heart Attack, We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions. Then AC/DC, uh, Highway to Hell, Back in Black, all those big songs that you hear in the car on the way to school. And that's kind of where my love of music started. The thing that got me into playing guitar was, I don't know if you've ever heard of or remember the old Power Tour electric guitar. It was a toy, like a Simon Says game for guitar. And that was what my dad bought me one Christmas. And that was where it all started, because then I was able to actually do the finger movements, play songs. I think it had like My Own Worst Enemy by Lit.
Nice.
Breaking the Law was one of the songs on that guitar thing. And there was like a Frankenstein, Edgar Winter Group. And so that was really where the finger dexterity started. And then Guitar Hero.
Yeah,
And
that's
and then getting
huge.
Guitar Hero, that was the hours and hours of that was saying like, this is what I want to do. That is so cool to be able that people can do that. And then you probably remember the first time playing Guitar Hero 3 and having a battle Slash and going, this is going to be impossible.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just that. And then I got my first guitar on my 12th birthday. They bought me a little Squire Fender Strat, Squire Strats, and that's where I learned how to play. That's kind of where my couldn't play the thing worth a crap for the first, you remember 6 months, like,
Yeah, yeah,
and then it really starts where you learn how to play something that you love, play a few notes, and it sounds right,
yeah.
and then you think it's possible.
Yeah, you have that breakthrough moment, and then once you have that breakthrough moment, it's like holy smoke. So if I can put all these other pieces together, then you slowly start building the puzzle that is becoming um, efficient at the instrument.
Oh yeah, and like there's so much more I need to learn and to be able to push myself. I've tried to push myself to learn something new at least every day, to learn a new song, learn a new riff. Um, there's been a few that I've gotten held up on where you come back to them a few months later and try to relearn it. The one song I was working on today was 17 by Wigger,
Nice. Yeah.
with Reb Beach playing that opening riff, and it's just this 80s kind of like Panama style riff. But it's just I couldn't figure it out for the longest time. finally got it today, and it was just one of those moments where you just go, okay, you can tell that it's getting better,
Yeah.
and cleaner. Yeah.
No, that's wicked. Speaking of playing clean, you're one of the cleanest players, cleanest shredders I've ever seen. Not even
Thanks,
just
man.
in this, yeah, no problem. Not even just in this province, but just like pretty much like when I went to Nam, one of the things I thought of was we were watching, and it is funny because I never told you this, but I was watching like these like professional famous guitar players play, and I'm like, there's a guy named Joe Carson in Winnipeg who could just throw all these guys in away. Like it's nuts. Who are some of your influences? What kind of pushed you to be able to play like that?
Paul Gilbert. No hesitation. It's Paul Gilbert, Mr. Big. Billy Sheehan as well. Even like for a bass player, just to watch him, the way he shreds that bass. So Paul Gilbert, George Lynch. George Lynch has been my biggest one lately. Zach Wilde.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the first guys that when you're learning to be a shredder, you go to, because you can't believe a guitar can sound like that.
Exactly.
I remember the first time I heard him, it was on Ozzy Osbourne's "I Don't Want to Stop," and I think I was like, I don't know, 11 years old, getting ready for school, and that song came on the radio, and I was like, "What is that?"
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So Paul Gilbert, and that he's definitely my biggest one for sure.
That's wicked. Actually, speaking of Nam, when I was down there, I got to see Paul Gilbert live at the Whiskey.
Oh,
and
that's sick.
Oh man, it was. You watch the videos, he's beyond what any video could. I couldn't believe somebody could play guitar like that. Like,
And
it's
he's
just,
so clean. Like it's everything's like picked.
Yeah.
I've never seen somebody with a tighter picking hand in that sense.
It's crazy. And like I went and checked out his pedal board after, and he's not using like it's his tone was like very clean. Like there was like very little gain, and I was just like, how do you like? There's no way that any mistake he made would have been showcased. So that means he made no mistakes. Like,
Oh yeah, because it's I saw one of the rig rundowns he does. He's got a Marshall, and it's not. There's no gain on the thing. Basically it runs clean. Turn the volume down. That's your clean sound. Turn it up. Throw in a couple of pedals, and that's what you're getting. And I couldn't imagine having to play like that. My Marshall is cranked all the time. That is my sound. I can't play with that. I can play with the lower gain, but that's what I've been working on throughout the quarantine to try to play at lower gains.
What what are you running? So I see your Marshall, you got a JVM. What are you running cab wise? What's your pedal board like?
The cabs live are the 1960 Marshalls, the 412s. I also have I don't know if you remember the brand Voltage.
Were they local?
Yeah, they were. They were a Winnipeg company. I have a Voltage cabinet as well, and a Heritage amplification 2x12, and I think that one's got Celestian greenbacks in it.
Nice.
And that's kind of been the speaker that I've used for most of the time. And then, so yeah, the amp is set really flat for EQ. I'm not really going too crazy on it. Gain's set about just past noon. So, and then the pedals, that's where the magic happens.
That's wicked. I was watching a video you posted, I think it was like November 9th, where you were doing like a medley of riffs and stuff. Your tone was like very clean too. Like it was still distorted but clean, and it sounded like you were running a phase on it. Was that a Phase 90?
Yes, it's the Eddie Van Halen MXR.
Nice.
The EVH Phase 90, and it's set to the lowest setting. It's just like you just turn the knob all the way down, and that's that phase. Pedals wise, it's not really crazy right now. It's going into a compressor, a boost pedal, and a noise suppressor.
Nice. That's wicked. I like that minimal setup. It's all within how you play and how you make it sound, and that's wicked.
And I got rid of the wah pedal, which is I'd never thought I'd get rid of the wah pedal, like take that off my board. I mean, I'll probably bring it back eventually if I need it, but for this, I've been wanting to do, like, for practicing at home. I found myself abusing the wah a bit, or if I couldn't play something, I'd just kick it on to cover it.
Yeah.
you get that extra the mid range, and I was using it to cover up some mistakes. But the phaser can do that too. When you're playing with a phaser, when it comes around on the loop on the sweep, you'll get a little bit of a relief from your playing, or like the picking relief. What you get a little bit more. I think what's it mid range? I think comes from it.
That's wicked. That's I don't want to. Well, I guess the word I would use is like brave, because like that's definitely not a lot of things. Like that's a thing not a lot of people would do, is cut out the wah pedal. Because like, man, I'm so guilty of that. If I have a wah pedal and I feel like I'm gonna mess up a run or something, I'll click on that wah pedal and I'll abuse it.
Yeah, me too. I'll click on the phaser, because it's like, oh, what's that? Like it adds that little bit of spice to the tone. It can distract. And I've had to distract quite a few times over my career.
Oh, likewise, man. It's and let's kind of segue into that. So the first time I saw you, you were playing with Mojo. At the time, you guys were Spicy Mojo.
Yes.
How long have you guys been a band for? I know you guys were saying you're kind of on and off right now, but like you guys released an EP a few years ago?
2016, and then we did one in 2015.
Nice. How long have you guys been a band for, and what was kind of like your process in songwriting? Because man, I got to give you props. Crooked Angel, that riff, dude. Oh my god. I remember judging the Battle of the Bands, and I think you opened with that song, and you were like doing like this clean like finger pick thing, and then your drummer's like and then you're like you went right into the riff, and I was like, oh, like, just so powerful.
We started the band, I think it was 10 years ago. I think it was 10 years ago, 2009, 2010. It was me and my cousin, who's the drummer, Brendan. Me and him, we kind of started the band, and it looked a little different than it does now. The first 4 years, really, we didn't do much. It was playing in the basement, getting ready we did a couple of shows, and then Carson joined the band. And he came in as a bass player, and we were looking for a singer. And I remember how we came to find him for vocals was we were doing vocal auditions, and he just started playing Sweet Child of Mine by himself down in the basement. And we all came running downstairs going, whoa, didn't know that he could sing like that. As for the songwriting process, it's kind of really free flowing. We just show up to rehearsal, and sometimes we'll come in with riffs, and the Crooked Angel riff was one that I came in with. There was something that I had been working on at home on an little 8-track, and I was able to bring it in and show it off. But most of the time, I don't know if you know the song Black Hole Heart off the first album.
Yeah, love that song.
That riff was not the little riff at the beginning, but the main actual riff was just Carson just pointed at me and go, Joe, play something. And that was the riff that came out. The first thing I played was that little piece, and then we just built from there. You probably know from writing songs, writer's block. Yeah. It's and when we're all in the room together, if a couple of us have it going on at the same time, we can break each other out of it. Just from sitting in a room playing together. And that's kind of where most of our songs came from, was just us jamming out in a room, hanging out, and just writing what we could.
Oh, that's awesome. And how so you guys write these songs, you rehearse them, now you start playing shows. What was your favorite show that you've ever done so far?
Oh, that's a good question. There's been a few really good ones. We played in our hometown of Headingley. We played the baseball tournament that they did, and they hired us out, and we played on the back of a flatbed truck.
That's awesome.
And that was a wicked gig. But the best gig that I can really remember, and a lot of people would, when I tell, when they know things, like know who I am and stuff, they always say, well, how was it at MTS Center? How was an MTS Center your best playing gig? Because it just didn't, it was so it was over and done. and your mind shuts off. You really just like you watch the videos of it, going, "Oh man, I actually did that." But the best gig was at the Park Theater on the Crooked Angel release.
Was that because you guys were like releasing like your music and just kind of like that moment of putting it out there? Or
For me, the part that really got it going was we played "Welcome to the Jungle," and it was our third or fourth song in, and I just remember looking at everyone and just being amazed at how tight we were playing that night. Like we had just replaced the rhythm guitar player literally 3 weeks before the show.
Oh, wow.
And had to bring in a guy named Austin, a great guitar player. Austin Nervous. He's just an amazing guitar player and incredible lead player. Just so he makes me work harder when I'm playing with a guy like him and he learned the whole set in 2 weeks. And it was just so tight. I just remember we learned how to play Bat Country by Avenged Sevenfold in 2 weeks. Fun. We were able to belt that out. It was just one of those shows where you look back on it and go, okay, that was one I'm always going to remember.
That's wicked, man. That's and kind of going off the live show type thing. Let's start talking about working with Fresh IE because like I know like I would never pigeonhole somebody, but like you mainly play rock music. Mm-hmm. How was it kind of going into that different world of music? Because Fresh, like I know from my experience working with Fresh, it's unbelievable his work ethic and how just being in his presence forces you to think more musically, to be in that space of creativity. He's unreal. Like how do you feel working with him?
You did on Ill Street Blues, right? You were on Blind Man Blues.
That's right. Yeah.
That was a hell of a song to have to learn. That was multiple hours sitting in my studio going, okay, that's Ronnie. What the hell am I supposed to play? How am I going to follow that? How am I supposed to go out and play this live?
Oh man, you're too kind.
But walking into that rehearsal room with him, and he is a presence.
Yeah.
He is he's one of the nicest men I've ever met, and just the nicest guy. A true artist to the meaning of the word. But coming in as a rock guitar player, it was really different. It was a change of pace because I'm playing more blues stuff with him, not playing as fast. I have to be more conservative with what I'm playing.
Yeah. And
we just did the new Heartbreaks record.
That's awesome. So you played on that record?
Yes, I did the remix of Lead Me On, which was on the Ill Street Blues record. We did that with Jake Albert and Jamie Giesbrecht. She sang on that, and she's got an incredible voice. That's a track that's on Fresh IE Heartbreaks. I think it's track 11.
That's weird. Everybody go check that out. I got to check that out. Like Jake and Jamie vocally, oh my God. Just incredible. You know Jamie? I do, yeah.
Oh, I remember during the first rehearsal, because Freddie brought her in. And we were at first rehearsal, and she started singing, and I stopped playing. I was just like, "Oh my God, how can someone have that voice?"
Yeah,
like, and someone that lives in Manitoba. How can someone that lives in Manitoba have a voice like hers? It's incredible.
Oh, it's just that whole group, like Fresh and Jake and Jamie and you, like just the whole group. That's a powerhouse of musicians. How was it playing Investors Group Field? Like I know you had already talked about it, but just walk me through that day, that experience. Like that must have been surreal.
Yeah, it was. It was really cool to be there. We had the Grey Cup there with Drew Wolodarski was one of the performers, and so we were allowed to have the Grey Cup on stage the whole day.
Wow.
Now that aired on the 1st. I think we recorded it about a week earlier.
Yeah.
And it was the hottest day of the summer.
Oh no.
No wind blocked into that stadium with the sun directly onto us. It must have been 40 degrees on the field on a black stage. Try to, you're feeling your shoes getting hot.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of breaks in between songs because I'm not a small guy. So I need to, I need to de-sweat for a bit.
Hey, I feel you there.
It's playing a show, not being the skinniest person it's tough. You're pretty soaked afterwards. But no, playing in that building was really surreal. Doing that walk down the field. I don't know about you, but when I play venues and stuff, the bigger venues, I go and sit in with the seats that I sat in for shows that I've played or been to. Just to be like, whoa, just to really put it in perspective that the blessing of being able to do this.
Yeah, you put it right there. Like I remember when we played the Burt. Every single time we play the Burt, I go sit in the seat that I first watched my first concert ever in, and I just realized that like this music game is so full of blood, sweat, and tears and hardship, and you face so much rejection, and just those moments, you have to take everything in and just be grateful for it, because
Yeah, I'll be over tomorrow, and that's just could just especially with this, like we've been going for I think it's like 6 months now. There's no shows. Like, I was supposed to do the Anthrax, the Big Four tribute show at the Park Theater. I was supposed to play guitar in the Anthrax band, and we had rehearsed for I think about 3-4 weeks, and then all of a sudden everything's canceled because it's looking bad, and cases keep going up.
yeah.
So we just got to do our part, and hopefully we can get back to playing shows soon. I miss it, man.
Yeah.
It's been too long. Like just for everyone to get back out there.
Exactly. What are your so let's say hypothetically things open up, let's say in like a year's time or something, we can start playing shows. What are your plans? Like, are you in Mojo gonna go hard and like tour play? Are you gonna play as much as you can type thing, or
I think when it comes to the Mojo front, we'll see where things are. That's just kind of everyone's kind of got their own schedules now. Like our drummer's going to be a doctor.
Oh wow.
He's in. I think he's in med school now. Yeah. We're all keep really busy. I know Fresh has some big plans coming up down that's kind of where my focus is right now.
Nice. Yeah.
Because it's so much fun playing with him. We were supposed to do some shows this year that unfortunately got canceled. Because he was on his way to the Juno Awards when they fully canceled them and locked down everything.
That's right. Yeah. No, that's great. That gig I think is really amazing, and just to be in that professional setting, like I can see so many amazing things coming for you in that gig, and that's going to be great. And
well, thank you for putting me in contact with him. That was you. That was you getting me that gig. And it was so much fun.
No problem, man. And that's a thing. Like, I couldn't do the gig, and I told Fresh, I'm like, I'll find somebody for you. And once again, like just like the NAMM thing, the first person I thought of was you, because I know how hard you work and how dedicated you are. And dude, like honestly, no, I'm not trying to kiss your ass or anything. You are one of the most amazing guitar players in this country, man.
Well, that means a lot, man.
Yeah, no problem. And I'm glad people are going to see it. And hopefully with these opportunities with Fresh and even beyond, like I said, the ceiling for you is endless. That segues actually into a question I have. What is your dream gig?
My dream gig? Huh. That actually is a really good question. I've never thought of that. I'd love to be playing my own music. That would be the dream gig. But it would be to play with someone who's been around the block a few times. Actually, get in with someone who knows what it's like on the road. Guys like would love to play for Sebastian Bach.
Yeah,
to be able to play guitar for him would be insane. Any one of those '80s bands. That's where my bread and butter is of bands that I know. And looking at those bands, they're getting up there. Like you see ADC. Like I didn't realize that Steve Vai was that. Like he was 60. Like,
yeah.
It's so weird to see like all these people that I thought were young because we were watching videos of them in the 80s, being that I wasn't born until 95. But no, the dream gig for sure would be to play in an 80s band, doing covers. That's kind of where my heart is.
That's wicked. Have you ever and I'm kind of battling asking this question because I absolutely hate when people ask me this question, but have you ever thought about like moving to LA or somewhere and kind of basing your career out of there, or?
It's crossed the mind a couple of times. When I was younger, yes, a lot. I was going to go to MI, and that's what I wanted to do, was go to Musicians Institute and take my lessons there. But that was unattainable, just for money wise and everything. That was just unattainable. I wouldn't say LA. I'd say more like Vancouver or Toronto.
Nice.
Kind of where I'd end up. This city, I feel, is going to be the next place to boom.
Yeah.
This is going to be the next Seattle, the next San Francisco. The Winnipeg has the ability and the talent in it to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And be that next big place for music.
That's I really love that you said that, because when I was younger, I had the same dream of going to MI, and then I realized, like, money wise, there's no way it's gonna happen. And I always had these dreams of, like, oh, I gotta move to LA, and it wasn't until I started gigging seriously in Winnipeg that I realized, like, oh my God, this is the city. Like, it just, people maybe don't realize it yet, but it is. Like,
it's happening here. It's gonna happen here. It has to. There's too much talent here for it not to.
Well, look at like Joey Landreth, Ariel Posen, like those guys are blowing up, like Guitar World magazine, stuff like that. Like, it's crazy.
Look at the Rev guys.
Yeah.
Like, amp company here, like in Manitoba. Come on, that's just shows that it's coming. It's coming. People are gonna hear it, and it's gonna be huge.
That's wicked. Yeah, no, it's I remember the Rev guys, like, did a video with Jeff Loomis, and I swear to God, they did it at the Burt. And then you just start thinking, like, Jeff Loomis flew here to Winnipeg to do a promo video.
Yeah.
At the Burt, and nobody knew. And it's just like, how cool is that? Like, it's pretty surreal.
Oh yeah, for sure. Those, like I said, this city is so full of talent.
Yeah. No, 100%. So I'm just kind of thinking here.
What you thinking?
Now, I do see, now, is there kind of like a goal you have in mind musically? Like, what is your goal as a guitar player? Like, where do you kind of, like, do you want to be able to play all styles, or?
Ideally, I'd like to be able to be versatile and be able to be called on for anything. Mainly I play the blues, rock and roll, metal, 80s stuff. Had to do some country, faked my way through that. That is a hard genre to play.
It is, yeah. It's people don't even realize that, but country guitar playing is just like, whoa.
Yeah, because you had the chicken picking part to it, and all that. That's a hard style. But for myself, to see myself in the future, I'd love to just be able to make a living and playing guitar. I have no huge aspirations for anything. Like, obviously we have the dream. Yeah. The dream of making it big. I just like to be able to do it and just make enough money to get by and have a nice life.
That's wicked. No, 100%. That's the goal. And sorry, when I said I was thinking earlier, because I had a question that I wanted to ask you, and I just lost it for a second, but now I have it. If you could give advice to any guitar player coming up, and kind of wanting to do what you do musically, what would you give advice-wise?
Don't give up. Don't give up. You're gonna find times when you're gonna plateau, and you're gonna feel like you're not gonna get any better. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna break through. You're gonna break through. The other piece of advice that I wish someone had given me when I started was use your pinky.
Yeah. I love that.
Don't neglect that finger. It is just as important as everything else. Yeah. That is a weak spot for me now, because I didn't train that going forward and starting. And the other piece of advice is, it's not about gear. It's make do with what you have. It's gonna come eventually. And if you're playing on a guitar that has a really bad action, you're gonna be a better guitar player for it, because you can compensate for it.
I love that. That's everything you just said is exactly what I think. I love that so much. I've seen too many people who are like the action sucks on this guitar. It's like, well, just try, kind of work through it, because in the end, you're gonna be a better player for it. Like it's.
Oh yeah, because playing on a perfect guitar right away. I don't think anyone's ever done that. unless
Yeah,
unless you're starting on a custom shop Les Paul, you're not gonna get a perfectly made instrument. Anything that's on the affordable side there's some work that needs to be done, especially for beginner guitars. I was fortunate enough to have a really nice beginner guitar. I still have it. It's in pieces because I was trying to do like a Frankenstrat thing to it. Then I realized I have no technical ability when it comes to that whatsoever. So it's still sitting in a pile. I'll probably get to it this year.
No, that's awesome. I love that. I love that that you're gonna kind of put that guitar together, and just like Eddie, like I love that, like that innovation. That's awesome.
That was one of the biggest celebrity deaths that I think actually got to me. Where it didn't feel real for a few days that he was gone, and it was so, because for me Van Halen was such a huge part of my life growing up. Going out to the cabin and Running with the Devil comes on the radio, and it's just like, whoa, it hits you now. It hits a little differently now.
Yeah, 100%. No, I agree, but I think there's something to be said with all the guitar players who look up to him. Everybody's gonna keep carrying that torch and keep carrying his legacy forward. And like 100%, when I was watching that video you had posted when you were doing Eruption, I was just like, oh man, Eddie would be just so proud. Like you sounded just amazing. Like,
oh, it's just the Marshall, man. That's just like, you're just playing a Marshall through a little bit less gain. And the guitar I'm using isn't anything crazy. I'm using a G&L Telecaster, like nothing special, all stock. The main one that I was using for I don't know if you heard the Panama cover that I did.
Yes, I did hear it. Yeah, what were you using on that?
That one was a Parker Fly.
Oh, I wanted to ask you about that. How is the Parker Fly?
It is weird. It is a weird guitar. It is, if you can see.
There's like nothing to it.
There's nothing to it. It's carbon fiber reinforced. The trem system is cool. You can still dump it, but it comes back in tune. No locking nut.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a weird guitar to play because it got such a thin neck and such a thin body. There's no weight to it. I was an idiot and tripped this year and broke a couple ribs, and yeah, that guitar was what I was able to use because I couldn't lift anything else.
Well, that's how cool is that you were still able to play with the Parker Fly? That's awesome.
Yeah, because it weighs nothing. It weighs 7 pounds.
Wow.
Like, it weighs nothing. So to be able to play that thing and have it so thin, and that's what I used a lot with Fresh.
That's awesome.
And it's been my main guitar because it's got Seymour Duncan pickups. I don't know what they are. I found it at St. John's Music for like $700.
That's wicked. Can't go wrong there.
Probably 7 years ago, and it sat in a case for a while because I had no really use for it. I had a really bad experience with the Floyd Rose. A really bad experience with the Floyd Rose, and I was swearing off whammy bars. I didn't need them. Yeah. And then I needed one and brought out the Parker. Such a wicked guitar. If you have a chance to ever play one of them, man, like, do it. They have such a unique feel.
That's wicked. No, the carbon fiber too. That would be, because it wouldn't go out of tune ever. There's no temperament for it to go out of tune. Like that's wicked. Yeah,
the part where the contour is for the body and that the horn, it's about that thick. Like, that's how thick the body is. It gets thicker, the electrical cavity, but it's quite an amazing piece of machinery.
No, that's wicked. Awesome. Thank you for showing your guitars there. That's how do you like the G&L?
That is my favorite guitar. I can honestly say that. I never use it live. Never. I think I take it out. I think I've taken it out twice. This is one of those ones that I just don't take out all the time. It's a single coil guitar, and I'm playing it through a high gain Marshall. You're not gonna it's not going to be the best sound. So mainly I use the ESP, the LTD EC1000s. I have two of
see.
them. I have two of those, and those are my mains for on stage with Mojo for sure. In the studio, I've taken the Telecaster many times, but
With the EC1000s, do you have the black one with the gold trim? Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The black one with the gold trim, and then I have that's the matte black finish. Then I have the shiny black with the abalone around the binding, with the white binding. Another beautiful guitar, 81, 85 EMGs in the pickups. And they just sound killer. And those guitars were on both Mojo records. The black and gold one being the one I recorded most of the albums with.
Yeah, it's got a great tone to them. So I kind of want to move away from the guitar, and this is something I always ask every guest here too. And I wanted to ask you so let's talk about the music business. How do you deal with the business side of things? Because I would imagine like when you were booking shows with Mojo, like, do you handle the business side of things?
I did for a while, and then that kind of I went to school I have an accounting certificate, and I went to Red River for the what's it called, business admin program. So I knew the business side of it. That wasn't something that I was too much interested in. Mm-hmm. We had Carson did a lot of our bookings for us, and still does when we have things. I've never really seen much of the business end of it. I guess I've been lucky not to see the horrible sides. I've heard horror stories.
Oh man, I could tell you a million things.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've been lucky that I haven't seen those, like the real bad part of it. But I've had some gigs where you're scheduled to go on at a certain time, and okay, it's that time, and okay, why aren't we on yet? Another hour goes by, why aren't we on yet? And then all of a sudden nobody's there, and hey, your time to go on.
Yeah. Yeah, that happens all too many times, and it's I've got so many experiences like that. I don't want to go into them because it's gonna hurt people's feelings. I'm not gonna tell people like the whole story thing.
It's better not to burn bridges, right? The names are changed to protect the innocent and all that.
Exactly, but yeah, no, it's crazy how so many of those situations happen, and then when you're going through it, it's kind of like you're kind of left thinking like, what the hell is going on here? Like,
where you're just going like, okay, well, we were supposed to start at 9. It's 10:30. Why aren't we on yet? And that's the other thing. It's like when you have a set time, play your set time. Just play your set time. Like, be off when you're supposed to be off. And I don't mean to say that like in a bad way, but obviously if you have a couple extra songs, play them. Go ahead. But have a quick take off. Like when you're taking gear off the stage, make it quick. That's always been my thing, was always to make sure I'm off the stage as fast as possible.
I love that. That just goes to show your professionalism, because there's so many people who do not finish their set though. Oh, I'll go have a beer, or I'll go. It's like, no.
No, man. Just get it all off. Then you can go have a beer, and I'll come for a beer with you.
Exactly. Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah. No, that's fair. That's definitely a rare occurrence to not kind of have that look into the music business.
But to be fair, I've been kind of out of it for a while. I haven't really done a lot in the last, probably what I'd say a year. It's been really just dealing with the family stuff around in my life, and that's been the priority. Doing gigs, if it came up, I'll do it, but I wasn't going out of my way over the last year to go out and play.
For sure. No, 100%. That's totally understandable. One thing I can kind of, and I don't want to play the role of like I'm the older musician type thing, but one piece of advice I want to pass on to you is, dude, you are so killer. Always know your worth, because dude, people like, if like let's say a big rock band did come and approach you, like, dude, it's their honor to have you come play for them. That's what I would say. Like,
it's take it. And the thing is, like, if exposure paid the bills, we'd all be millionaires.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
I think all musicians would be millionaires if exposure paid the bills.
Exactly. Yeah. No, 100%. So I'm kind of gonna wrap up this interview here with a couple more questions.
Okay.
So the first question, and it's gonna kind of no, you know what? Usually I do this thing where I'm like pick A or B, but I'm not gonna do that this time. I'll just ask you because you're an amazing guitar player. What's your favorite scale to use?
Ooh. Oh, it's pentatonic and Lydian.
Nice, nice, yeah.
I've been doing a lot of Lydian playing, listening to a lot of Steve Vai, going into George Lynch's stuff. And George Lynch was a very free-form player. Harmonic minor was a big part for him. Never got into really got into doing scales. I just kind of played how it felt.
Mhm.
Couldn't tell you the major scale really if it came up and bit me in the ass, but I just know what sounds good. And when playing over a G chord, I know it's going to sound good. But pentatonic was the main one. The first one I learned, that was the big one that I used, and the Lydian scale has been the latest one. Using those, I can't remember if it's a sharp third. I don't know. I think.
Oh, dude, I don't even know.
I'm gonna look like an idiot for saying it, but that's yeah, those are the kind of the tonalities that I've been going through. When I went the tonality wise, it's a lot like Steve Vai doing the big slide into notes, and then holding notes. That was the other thing. Just you could use the scale. It's the tool, right? It's the building block for everything that you're gonna play.
Yeah.
And you can milk notes. You can say a lot of things with one note than just holding it and wiggling it.
No, 100%. And then my last question here is, what do you think makes a great guitar player?
Makes a great guitar player. Makes a great guitar player is the ability to do it all, or the ability to do do one thing really, really, really well, and then stick with it. Learn the other styles, but if it's not your strong point, you're gonna make yourself look a certain way if you play a style that's not your strong point.
Yeah.
And just the ability to know how to play with a band. That is a thing that yourself. We have our moments to shine when we're the shredders. We have our moments to shine, and we have to. And that I found was always so hard. Was playing with other members and playing with a drummer and playing with a metronome.
Yeah.
I don't know if you practice with a metronome, but I'm starting to just recently, and it's it's a daunting task.
It really is, and then it just gets to that point, like when you live with other people, like my fiance, like you'll just hear that click.
Congratulations, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you
was
very
awesome.
much.
That was very, very happy for you when I saw that.
I appreciate that very much, man. Thank you very much. But it's just one of those things where, like, a person can only take so much of just hearing the click, click,
Oh yeah,
click, 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 and then it's like we don't realize it because we're so into like doing it to the metronome. That can drive a person nuts.
Oh, a person that's not in the room. Oh God, yeah. That's I'm lucky I can just use the headphones because the Marshall, the JVM, they have a DI direct out, so I can just go direct into my computer,
That's wicked.
which allows me to play quietly. I don't have to have the cabinets going, and then I can have the click track in my ear. So 4 o'clock in the morning when I can't sleep, get up, grab the guitar, and I can still play and not disturb everyone else in the house.
That's wicked. Oh, and that just goes to show, man. That's what I love about you so much. Like the 4 a.m. practice, like, dude, that just goes to show, like you put in the time and you put in the hard work, and it shows in your playing, man. And I just want to say thank you so much for being on my podcast.
No problem, man. Thank you for having me. It was an honor, and it was just nice to talk to another guitar player and one as amazing as yourself to be able to sit here and just talk shop. And when I get going on music, people at my work, they always say that when you start talking about music, you light up, and it's true. It's my passion.
You can tell, man, and I appreciate the compliment. And no, likewise, man. Like just talking shop with you, talking music, talking guitar playing, it's definitely a highlight, and I enjoyed this interview very much.
Yeah, me too, man. Thank you for having me.
No problem. I can't wait to see what you do with Fresh, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for you, man. Because honestly, one day the entire world is gonna know your name, and you're gonna be one of the top guitar players, man. I can see it. I can see it clear as day. So.
Means a lot, man. Thank you.
No problem. All right, you take care. Okay.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Peace out.
Peace out, man.